So, hello dear students. Today we would be discussing in the series of lectures on types of chemical reactions. So today we will be discussing about the oxidation reaction. So previously we have discussed some other type of chemical reaction where we have discussed combination, decomposition, displacement and double displacement reactions we have discussed. So now today we would be discussing the oxidation reaction. So what is this oxidation reaction all about? So let me write about the oxidation. So the ability of oxygen, so you can say the addition of oxygen, you can say. Okay, so I'm writing the addition of oxygen to a substance is called oxidation. So what is oxidation? The addition of oxygen to a substance is called oxidation. Means something in a substance, the oxygen is being added. So the oxygen gets added, so we call it as the oxidation reaction. Okay, so number two, you can say at the same time, if oxygen is not being added, or if the oxygen not gets added, then you can say the removal of hydrogen also. The removal of hydrogen from a substance. The removal of hydrogen from a substance is also called oxidation. Some might be confusing with that it's only addition of oxygen is oxidation. No, not at all. Removal of hydrogen is also coming under the oxidation reaction. So let me give you an example. So let's say, suppose we have this Cu, that is copper plus oxygen, and they are reacting together to make copper oxide. Okay, that is CuO. So here you can see, here the oxygen is being added to the copper. The oxygen is being added to the copper and copper has become CuO. So there is addition of oxygen to copper. You can say copper is previously the oxygen was not here. Now oxygen is there. So you can say there is addition of oxygen to the copper. So here this is the example of oxidation reaction. So this is, you can say this here, addition of oxygen is taking place. Now one more example I am giving you. Let's say you have one more example. Let's say CH3OH, that is methyl alcohol. When you are heating it, so it is giving CH2O plus hydrogen gas is being emitted out. So again you can see, from CH3OH hydrogen is being hydrogen has been emitted from the CH3OH. So here you can say the removal of hydrogen is there from the CH3OH. Earlier it was having hydrogen, now the hydrogen is being removed from CH3OH. So there is the removal of hydrogen here. So this is the removal of hydrogen. Here the addition of oxygen, but here the removal of hydrogen. From here the hydrogen has been removed from the CH3OH. So this is again the example of oxidation. So these are both the examples of oxidation reaction. Okay, now let's study the oxidizing agents. So write this. So now we would study the oxidizing agent. Right here the heading, oxidizing agent. So what are the oxidizing agents? Okay, so write the definition. The substance which gives oxygen for oxidation. The substance which give oxygen for oxidation is called oxidizing agent. So what are the oxidizing agents? Means those substances which give oxygen for the oxidation. Those substances which give oxygen for the oxidation are called the oxidizing agents. And similarly, You can say at the same time the substance which remove hydrogen, okay, or I can write or the substance which remove hydrogen is also called what? Oxidizing agent. Is also called oxidizing agent. Okay, like I'm giving you an example. So which is means with the substance which is giving oxygen. The substance which give oxygen for the oxidation is called oxidizing agent, or at the same time the substance which remove oxygen is also called oxidizing agent. Okay. Now the second type of reaction we would study, that that would be the which one now? I think combination, decomposition, displacement, double displacement. 4 types. This one was the 5th. Now the 6th one, that is reduction reaction. Reduction reaction. We would study both these two reactions together. So that is why I have written 5 types of chemical reactions. So these two reactions together we would study later. Okay. So first means one by one I am just telling you about the oxidation and reduction. So what is reduction? Reduction is just opposite to the oxidation. Oxidation, there was addition of oxygen, but here in the reduction there is addition of hydrogen. Okay, the addition of hydrogen. So right here, the addition of hydrogen to a substance is called reduction. This is reduction. So what is reduction? The addition of hydrogen to a substance is called reduction. At the same time, you can see the removal of oxygen also, or I'm writing, or the removal of oxygen from a substance. Oxygen from a substance is also called reduction. What is reduction? Reduction is just opposite to the oxidation. So in oxidation you have the addition of oxygen, and in reduction you have the addition of hydrogen. Okay, so this is why these both are opposite to each other, addition and reduction. Okay. So let me tell you an example of reduction where the reduction is taking place. Now suppose you have an example of this. Let's say we have zinc oxide. I'm giving you an example, zinc oxide, and it is reacting with the carbon. Okay, so here you can see zinc oxide is being converted into zinc. Okay, and then carbon and oxygen are reacting together, they are making carbon dioxide. So here you can see there is removal of oxygen. Oxygen earlier was there with zinc. Okay, now the oxygen has been removed from here. So if there is removal of oxygen, then again it is the example of reduction. Okay, so here it is removal of oxygen. So if there is removal here from the zinc oxide, the oxygen has been removed. So if there is removal of oxygen, then it is again the example of reduction reaction. One more example, let me tell you. Let's say you have hydrogen. Okay, it is not visible here, so let me write it separately. I'm making a long arrow here. Okay, so it is zinc plus carbon monoxide. Are you getting this? Good. Now, so zinc oxide is being converted into zinc. So oxygen was earlier there with zinc oxide. So now oxygen has been removed. So there is removal of oxygen. So if there is removal of oxygen, so this is the example of reduction reaction. Similarly, addition of hydrogen also. Let me give you example like H2 and I2. Hydrogen and iodine, they are reacting together. What do they form? They form hydrogen iodide. So here also you can see hydrogen gets added to iodine. Earlier hydrogen was not there with the iodine. Iodine was alone earlier. Now here you can see hydrogen has been added to the iodine. So there is addition of hydrogen to iodine. So here also you can see this is addition of hydrogen. So if there is addition of hydrogen, so so it is again the example of reduction reaction. Okay, now we would study both these reactions, means oxidation and reduction together. Okay, So let's study. First you write it down. Now we would study oxidation and reduction together, also known as the redox reaction. Oxidation, reduction. Okay. Now we would study the next type, that is the redox reaction. Redox reaction, it comes from red, that means reduction, ox means oxidation. So reduction and oxidation taking place simultaneously. Okay, means together they are taking place in the same reaction. So that one reaction will be called the redox reaction. Okay, so those reactions in which, right here, those reactions in which reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. Reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously will be called what? Will be called the redox reaction, are referred to as redox. In block letter I am writing redox reaction. Redox, red means reduction, ox oxidation. So redox reaction. Okay, so here in redox reaction both will be there. In redox reaction both will be there. What will be there? There will be reduction also, and there will be oxidation also. So reduction means addition of hydrogen and removal of oxygen, both. So both can occur, addition of hydrogen, or you can say removal of oxygen. So this is reduction. So similarly oxidation is what? Addition of oxygen. So here you would be having addition of oxygen, or you can say removal of hydrogen. So both will occur. So if reduction and oxidation these both occurring simultaneously, then you would say this is the example of redox reaction. Are you getting this? So before moving ahead in this redox reaction, let me tell you about a small concept that is also known as the valency. Okay, so what is valency? Before reading this redox reaction, so it is important to know about the valency and the octet rule. Okay, so let me tell you about the valency and the octet rule. Okay, so later on we would be discussing about the redox reaction. So let's start and let's study the valency, because it is important to know valency before reaching out to these redox reactions. So valency, what is valency? So if I ask you valency is the number of electrons that are present in the outermost cell of an atom. Okay, suppose you have an atom. The atom comprises of what are the subatomic particles? Like we have nitrogen and proton are there in the nucleus. Then around the nucleus you have electrons which are surrounding the nucleus. Then these are the different cells. So in the different cells you would be having, like here you can see, here you have how many cells? 2 cells, first cell and second cell. So in these 2 cells you have electrons. These are revolving around the nucleus. So these are the electrons which are revolving around the nucleus, and this one is the nucleus. So nucleus is having the plus charge, and nucleus is having 2 particles are called proton and neutron. So proton and neutron would be there inside the nucleus, and electrons would be moving around the nucleus. So we have 3 subatomic particles: electron, proton and neutron. We have 3 subatomic particles: electron, proton and neutron. Electron, proton and neutron. So these are the 3 subatomic particles. Okay, proton and neutron resides there in the nucleus. So in the nucleus, this is the nucleus. So proton and neutron resides in the nucleus, inside the nucleus, and the electrons would be moving around the nucleus. These are the electrons which are revolving around the nucleus in the different cell. Okay, so the number of electrons in the outermost cell, which is the outermost cell? This is the outermost cell here. So the number of electrons that are there in the outermost cell would be called as the valency of that one element. Okay, so here only one atom in the outermost cell, so valency would be how much? 1. Okay, so means the number of electrons in the outermost cell, you must be knowing this, the number of electrons in the outermost cell would be called as, or would be termed as, the valency of that one element. Okay, so valency means number of electrons in the outermost, not inner one. We have two cells here, first cell and second cell. So second cell is the outermost cell here. So the number of electrons that are present there in the outermost cell would be called as the valency of that one atom. Okay, is it clear to you? Very good. Right there, the number of electrons, the number of electrons present in the outermost cell of an atom, present in the outermost shell of an atom. Outermost shell also called the valency cell also. The outermost cell, suppose there would be one more cell, then you would call this one is the outermost cell. So this one would have been the valency cell. Okay, so outermost cell is also known as the valency cell. So here I am writing the number of electrons present in the outermost cell, also known as the valency cell. Valency cell. The number of electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom is called the valency of that one element. Okay, similarly, the combining capacity of an atom to give or to share electrons. So this electron can be given also, like this is the atom here. So at this time, this electron can be given also, and simultaneously it can take the electron also. Like suppose it needs some more electron, so it will take some electron from some other atom. It can take electron also, or it can give electron also, or it can share electron also. Share electron is means like suppose one atom here and one atom here. So one electron here coming, one electron. So these both are sharing the electrons. This is the sharing of electron. Means one electron is of this one electron is of this one. So both are having 2 electrons now. This one atom also 2 electrons, this one atom also 2 electrons. So these are the shared electron. These are the shared one electron. So this one, the outermost electron, can be shared like this also. Can be given also, like this is the atom which is having more electrons. So this he will give 1 electron to another one. Simultaneously at this time it can take electron also. Okay, so this one electron can be shared also, can be given also, or can be taken also. Okay, it can take the electron also. So the sharing, giving and taking of electron, how many electron it is giving, how many electrons it is taking, and how many electrons it is sharing, this is also called the valency. This is also called the valency. Now why it is giving and why it is taking, this is the question here. Okay, like I said, this one atom and this one atom both are sharing one electron. One electron is of this, one electron is of this, and they are both are sharing the electron. Why they are doing so? Like here in this case, this one electron is being given now. He is giving this one electron. Why it is giving? And in another case it is taking also. So why this sharing, giving and taking occurs? This is due to have a stable state. Because every atom wants to have a stable state. Stable state means so that it cannot react with any other now. Right now it is having only 1 electron. It is having only 1 electron in the outermost cell. So it will react with some other atom also. Right now it can react with some other atom. Okay. So why it will react with some other? Because it is having only 1 electron in the outermost cell. It means it is not stable. So what it will do? It will react with some other. So some other atom will give it 1 electron to it. So it will be having 2 electron again now. So it will be having the stable now. It will be stable now. So now it will not react with any other. Okay. So any of the atom, it's sharing or giving or taking the electron from the other to have a stable state. Are you getting this? Stable state. Like you are there, okay, you are having means you need that much money. Suppose this is the money is required for you, this is the money is required for you. Or you can say you are eating right now, so this much is the chapati. Suppose you need suppose you need 6 chapati in a day. Suppose you are eating 6 chapati in a day, but right now you are having only 4 chapati. So it means your diet is not complete. Okay, so it means you need some more. So you are not stable right now, because you need 6 chapati, only you are having the 6 chapati. So what would you do? You can ask to someone else also to give. Suppose someone else here is having more chapati, so he would give you 2 chapati. So now you would be having 6 chapati. So now you are stable. You are stable now. So you can take also, you can give also. Suppose that you are having 8 chapati, but you need only 6 chapati. So what would you do? You would give these 2 chapati then. So now you are having the stable state. And again you can share also. Suppose you are having like 4 chapati, another one is also having 4 chapati, both of you need 6 chapati. So what would you do? You would take, suppose some chapatis are here. Suppose you have 4 chapatis, there 2 chapatis there are left here. So what would you do? You would share these 2 chapatis, in some he will eat and some you will eat, so both will be satisfied. So this is the case. So you are doing this. So why you are doing this? To have a stable state. So similarly for the atoms also, these atoms are also giving, sharing and taking the electrons from the other. These atoms are also taking and giving or sharing the electron with the other also, to have a stable state. And how many electron it gives and how many electron it is sharing, this is also called the valency, also known as valency. So we have 2 definitions for that. So you can write there, the combining capacity of an atom, the combining capacity of an atom. So what is valency? Valency is the combining capacity of an atom. So it is the capacity of an atom. So valency, suppose someone is having some valency, suppose someone is having valency 2, it means it has the capacity to take 2 electron, to give 2 electron, to take 2 electron, or to share 2 electron. So this is the valency. Okay, so valency tells you that what is your capacity. The valency of an atom tells that what is the capacity of the atom, is how many electrons it can give and how many electrons it can share. So this is what the valency tells. Okay, so here I am writing the combining capacity of an atom to give or accept or share electrons to achieve the stability. Electrons to achieve the stability or octet state. Or what is this octet? I would be telling it about later. Or octet state is also called the valency. What is valency? Valency means the number of electrons that are present in the outermost cell. This is valency. Another way you can define valency as the combining capacity of an atom to give, accept or share electrons to achieve the stability or octet state. Means how many electrons it can give, how many electrons it can accept and how many electrons it can share. So this capacity is also called the valency. Okay, so valency tells the capacity of an atom. Suppose some atom is having the valency 2 or 3. It means it can share 3 electrons, it can accept 3 electrons, or it can give 3 electrons. This is the valency. Are you getting this? Very good. Now I will define about this octet state. What is the octet state? Octet state means the stability 1 state. Likewise, in the case of the chapati, you needed 6 chapati or 8 chapati. So how will you have this chapati? By sharing or taking or accepting. Are you getting this? So you are having a stable state. So this one state will be known as the octet state. So what is this octet state? I will be telling it about here. Octet state. Just let me define about this octet state. So right here, any atom would be stable So when an atom would be stable? This is the question. Suppose this is the atom. When this atom would be stable, would it be having 2 electrons in the outermost shell? Would it be having 8 electrons in the outermost shell? Would it be having 60 electrons in the outer? So what is the criteria for that? Okay, how the atom would be stable? So there should be a criteria, na? So this is the octet state. Okay, so octet state tell that I am just telling about it. Any atom would be stable. Any atom would be stable if in its last shell, if visible, would be stable if in its last shell means valency shell. Yes, last shell also known as valency shell. If in its last shell or the valency shell there are 8 electrons, there are 8 electrons except helium, that is He. Now just now I told you that the atoms want to share, accept and give electrons. Why? To have a stable state. So what is the criteria for having the stability? Means how many electrons should be there in the outermost shell? So the condition is there should be 8 electrons. If any atom is having 8 electrons in the outermost shell, then it would not react easily to other one. Like suppose you need 8 chapati in a day. If you had 8 chapati right now, then you would not be asking someone other for giving you the chapati. Are you getting this? Wait, because you are in a stable state. Okay. But if you would be having 6, then you need 2 more. Then in somehow means you would be having 2 more chapatis. There are the different means for you. Okay. You can steal also from someone else. Okay. But like here in the case of the atoms, so any atom would be stable. Any atom would be stable if it is having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. There may be many cells. Right now here I have made 2 cells. There might be some other cells also. But in the outermost cell, it should be having how many electrons? 8 electrons. If any atom is having 8 electrons in its outermost cell, then the atom would be a stable one. Okay. So are there any atoms which are stable? Can you tell me any element which is stable, which is having 8 electrons in its outermost cell? Yes, there are such atoms which are already having 8 electrons in its outermost. But most of the elements are not having 8 electrons in their outermost cell. So that is why they are reactive. But very few of the atoms are having 8 electrons in their outermost cell. So such atoms or such element are called the noble gases. What do we call them? Noble gases. Okay. So here I have written here there are 8 electrons. So every atom needs 8 electrons in its outermost shell except helium. Helium needs only 2. Okay. So helium is satisfied with only 2 electrons. So helium would say yes, I have 2 electrons. Okay, I am satisfied. I cannot eat more than that. Okay. So helium is satisfied with only 2 electrons, but rest of the atoms want 8 electrons in their outermost shell. If they are having 8 electrons, then you would say yes, this is a stable one atom. Okay. But in case of helium, you need only 2 electrons. Helium needs only 2 electrons in its outermost shell. Okay. So now I am writing some examples here. Such atoms, such atoms or such elements I am writing. Such elements that have 8 electrons or that follow the octet rule. That follow the octet rule means that have 8 electrons. Such elements that have 8 electrons in their outermost shell are called, what do we call them? There is a special name for them, because those are satisfied, those who have already have, like suppose those who have eight chapatis in a day daily. So you would say he is a rich man, satisfied one. So similarly here also, the atoms or the elements which are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell, you would call them as the inert gases or the noble gases, are called noble. Here I am writing noble or inert gases, or inert gas. We would call them noble or inert. Means they would not react with any other now easily. They would not be reacting easily with someone other, because they are already having it. Why will they give now? Okay. So you would call them as the noble or inert gases. So should I tell how many noble or inert gases are there? So let me tell you. Where should I write? Okay, I am erasing up one. So here we have the example of noble gases. Means the atoms, the elements which are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell are: number 1, helium; number 2, neon; number 3, argon; number 4 is this. What is the number 4 one? Number 4 is krypton. Yes. Number 5, xenon. Number 6 one is radon. So these are the gases. These are the gases. These are the noble gases. These are the inert gases. All of these are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell, except helium. Helium is having only 2 electrons. Helium is satisfied with 2. It is having 2 and not reacting with any other. But others are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Only these are the elements in the periodic table which are these elements are just in the last group. These elements are there in the last group in the periodic table. We would be discussing the periodic table later ahead in chemistry, but right now I would tell you that these elements are in the last group in the periodic table, and these are the noble gases. All of these are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell. All are satisfied, and none of these are reacting easily with any other element, except the helium. Helium is having only 2, so still he is also stable one. Are you getting this? Very good. Okay, now let's move towards the redox reaction, about which we were discussing, the redox reaction. Redox reaction. So let me tell you about the redox reaction. So some examples I am telling you about the redox reaction. Like when copper oxide, suppose you have say copper oxide is heated with hydrogen. When copper oxide is heated with hydrogen, so it gives copper and water. So which one reaction is taking place here? Can you tell me the reaction which is taking place here? Yes, if you see, copper oxide has been converted into copper. Earlier there was oxygen with the copper, but right now it is not having oxygen. Means there has been the removal of oxygen. So if there is removal of oxygen, so what do we call it? Removal of oxygen is also called the reduction. So this is the example of reduction reaction. So reduction reaction is taking place here. At the same time, look here. Look here. Hydrogen was alone previously, but right now there is addition with hydrogen. There is addition of oxygen now. Earlier hydrogen was not having oxygen, but now see, there is actually addition of oxygen. So if there is addition of oxygen, then that is called the oxidation. Yes or not? So in this reaction, reduction and oxidation are taking place simultaneously. Means together they are taking place. So this one reaction would be termed as the redox reaction. So this is the example of redox reaction. Why redox reaction? Because there is reduction also taking place, as well as the oxidation is also taking place. That is why we would call this as the example of redox reaction. Okay, as I have told you, oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent means the substance which provide oxygen. So which substance is providing here oxygen? CuO. So CuO is also called as the oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. So here CuO is also called as the oxidizing agent. Okay, so this is the example of redox reaction. Let me give you one more. Let's say we have the example of Fe2O3, that is ferrous oxide, and it is reacting with aluminium, and it gives aluminium oxide plus iron has been separated from here. Now just tell me which one example is this. Now if you see here, what is happening over here? Earlier there was oxygen, now there is no oxygen, means removal of oxygen. Here has been the removal of oxygen. So if the removal of oxygen is taking place, what do we call it? Removal of oxygen. Yes, yes. Which one is this? Yeah, this is the example of reduction. So reduction reaction is taking place. But at the same time you see here, aluminium alone now, but now you see aluminium is having oxygen now. So there has been addition of oxygen to aluminium. So if addition of oxygen, then you would call it as the oxidation reaction. So in this reaction also, oxidation and reduction both are taking place simultaneously. So you would call this reaction as the redox reaction. This is again the example of redox reaction. Are you getting this? Hope you are getting now about the redox reaction. Means where the oxidation and reduction taking place simultaneously would be termed as the redox reaction. Are you getting this? We would be discussing more about this redox reaction, more examples we would study in the lectures ahead about the redox reaction. But the important question which might be there here in the examination, question can be, which is the substance which is being oxidized here? So can you tell me which is the substance which is being oxidized here? So the oxidized one substance is aluminium here. Look here, aluminium is being oxidized. So which is the substance which gets reduced or which is being reduced here? So the substance is ferrous oxide. Look here, ferrous oxide is being reduced to iron here. Okay, so this is the question. So question are being asked like this: which are the substance, or which is the substance is being oxidized, and which is the substance which is being reduced. So this is why you would answer the question. Okay, we would be discussing more about this. So stay tuned and keep watching. Thank you.